Yo, do you remember the dream life you built for yourself by the time you're 25?
Yeah. Let's all laugh at that together.
Now you're 30-something and you don't have the car,
The job,
The business,
the spouse, and feeling a little like a mess?
we're here to tell you you're still on track to that dream and doing just fine. I'm Beleza.
I'm Kiki.
I'm Gigi, and this is your podcast. Welcome.
Welcome to 30 and a Mess. What's going on, 30 and a Messers? It's your girl Beleza.
It's your girl Kiki.
And you know it's your girl Gigi. I'm ready with my mop and my bucket because my life is still in shambles. Welcome back if you are returning, and welcome if you're brand new.
Woo woo. What's up, y'all?
What's good? What's good? I hope you had a good weekend.
Y'all, can we just acknowledge the fact that we're in double digits in our episodes?
Bro,
We're
I'm so
moving
excited.
up.
Just
We're
saying.
going long, going strong.
And we ain't even touched the surface of where we're about to go with this. We had to ease y'all in, okay?
Yep.
But it's about to get real.
It is about to get real. You're right. We gotta figure out a date for when we're gonna drop 30 in a Mess After Dark.
We do.
Ooh, that's gonna be a banger.
That's gonna be
What is it called? Uncut? What was that? Is that what that BT section was
Right.
called? BT Uncut.
We're gonna have something just like it.
So today we're gonna be talking about we're gonna get right into it. Y'all already know how we do. Today we're gonna talk about being perfect or being dope. You know, that concept is very alive and well in our hustle and grinding season as we are leaving our 20s and going into our 30s. You know, we're still making our own way. You know, like you already know why we started this podcast. We have come from a generation that teaches us to go to school, right? Get a job, stay forever, be there. But now that we don't have to do that route anymore, we have so many options, right? So with those options, we always focus on, do we want to be like perfect at what we're doing or trying out, or do we want to be dope? Like which one is better? So is there a difference? What is the difference between the two?
I would say being perfect is basically following the guidelines, kind of staying in a certain way because that's what society says, or that's what your parents say, or that's what your parents say, or you know, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what the picture, like this is what picture perfect is. It's supposed to look like this in order to say this is success, or this is what everything should fall into place. I think being dope is just being yourself, being what drives you, being in your passion, doing exactly what makes you happy, regardless of what it looks like to society.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I can elaborate a little bit more, but Kiki hit it on the head with that one.
Yeah, I think so too. I think being perfect definitely aligns with like following the roadmap that was given, and then being dope is literally like about just taking what it is and letting it be what it is. And sometimes it blows up and sometimes it doesn't, but you're not focused on it being like matchy with what everyone else around us tells us it has to be. So I definitely agree with you, Kiki. Like that, yeah, that sums it up. Do you feel like you prefer to be one more than the other? Or do you feel like it's like kind of like a balance? Like, is there like some way where like you need a little bit of both?
It depends on where you're trying to strive to. So, like, I would say that for the majority of my life, I was trying to fit into the perfect mode. The older I'm getting and learning that there has to be more quality to life than just kind of getting up and doing the same things every day. I think being in your passion starts to become more important the more life is kind of passing you by. So to me, I would say if I had to pick one, I would prefer to live in my passion. Well, actually, I would prefer a little bit of both because yes, I would love to be dope. I want to do everything that I want to do and feel this quality of life, but at the same time, I still want to be within a certain part of the guidelines that I don't feel that I'm starving, or I don't feel that I'm kind of becoming unhinged. Like I still want a level of security and comfortability, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense because this is how I see it. Perfect is do what I have to do. Dope is do what I want to do and still get to that level of comfortability that I want. Now it's going to be a little difficult because perfect has the roadmap and dope doesn't.
Mm.
especially when you're finding your dope. Some people know they're dope, but some people are trying to find their dope because we live this perfect lifestyle for so long of making sure this and making sure you get a husband, or making sure you have your kids in a certain amount of time, or making sure you get promote out, or whatever it is. Making sure you please your family, make sure you know how to cook, all this, get your check marks in, what I call it, the checklist. So I kind of see it as I rather follow the dope route. But I think there's places where I have my dope completely initiated and locked and loaded. And then I have places where that perfect is still there.
Dang, that's so interesting. Because I feel like I've always been on the dope side, right? Like I really didn't have a lot of rules. I really didn't have a rubric. I didn't have a roadmap. I just kind of was flying by the seat of my pants for so long that now I'm trying to get the perfect part. Like I'm trying to get, okay, what is the usual roadmap? Like how is it usually done? Like I want to understand, because I feel like in order for you to really, really live in your dopeness, you have to at least know the rules, or like the backbone of things, so that way when you are creating or you are branching off, you know what you are doing. Like it's more strategic. It's not more happenstance.
Yep.
So for me, I'm doing the opposite. Like I'm doing like, yeah, it was like the traditional route was pushed at me, yes. But even in that traditional route, I still was always doing my own thing. Like I really didn't have, like literally, like my mom, she did like 2 years of college, but she was in the South and it was back in a different time period. And she really didn't know how to give me like the rubric to like, okay, this is how you apply, this is how you do this, like this is the way you do this, blah, blah, blah. She pretty much was like, listen, whatever you do, be good at it. I remember one time I asked her, I was like, Mommy, what if I was a prostitute? She said, you better be the best prostitute there is. I said, well, my goodness.
I mean, it's still good advice though.
You better be the best there is. So
that's what you want to do.
Right. So I really didn't have like the, structure. So without that structure, I was so busy being like dope and just kind of like following along the way of like being myself within that dynamic of life. But now I'm trying to figure out, okay, like how does it actually work? What rules or what ways do I need to like see how it's actually done so I can branch off more strategically?
That's smart.
Like I need
like
more
that.
structure.
I wish I did that in a way, but I tell people this all the time, and we've talked about flowing. You learn and experience more earlier on, because if you don't, then you go back to the, okay, now I'm trying to find myself. And by that point, you're a little bit older. But the way that I have structured it for me is I'm going to take jobs that make me learn certain things. So then when I finally establish what I want, I have those skill sets. And we've talked about it many times in like a whole bunch of different episodes, how I move, even when it comes to promotions and things like that. Let me learn this skill. Let me learn this. Let me understand this. Let me understand that. So then my dope could be doper than anybody would ever expect it, including myself.
And I'm glad you mentioned about expectations, because, like growing up, our family do have certain expectations for us. So which one of the two did your family expect from you? Growing up, our families do have expectations for us. And with those expectations, do you feel like growing up, they wanted a specific one for you? Like, did they want perfection, or did they want the dopeness? Like, did you feel that kind of pull for either one of those?
This is what I'll say. Let my family tell it. They're going to say dopeness. I personally feel that it was perfection, and they wanted me to sprinkle the dope on top of it. But I don't think at that point I could have done both, because my dopeness was out of the norm. If that makes sense to y'all.
No, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, my parents, or my family in general, they want perfection. In my mind, I'm not gonna put words in their mouth.
Like in our mind.
I'm not gonna put words in their mouth, but they want perfection. And I'm gonna be honest, I will kind of agree with the sprinkled a little bit of dopeness on that, as long as it does not interfere with the perfection.
Yes.
That's where I think it comes with my family. And I've even spoken on this before, like even now I finally got to a place in my employment where I can maneuver very nicely and then still be able to do things that I want to do, which is great. It's lovely work-life balance. But they are still even like, well, you should go back to school and you should get your doctorate and you should become
they should pay for it.
Right. I was like, you paying for it?
Right. So, you know, there's still those modes of, okay, that's cool. That's great. Glad you're happy. But you want this to look like this. So they still want me to fit into the mode of what they feel would be good for me. And that is what they feel needs to be a perfect life. In a sense, it still needs to be done a certain way. Now, I will say if things go off the rails, like if something kind of alters, my family is good with kind of, you know, shifting to that, like, oh, it's great that you're doing what you want to do in your career and, you know, you have this time and this space to do other things that make you happy, but you're supposed to go back to school and get your doctorate and get your doctorate, you know, become that psychiatrist that you said you wanted to be before. And it's like, well,
they're going to pay for it.
No, they ain't paying for it. No, they ain't going to pay for it. But, you know, it's still that matter of, yes, great, you're doing what you love, but society says, or this is the only way you will be really stable if you just keep going back. And I just think that that goes back to like just like how they grew up and how we're growing up. It's like for them, this was the only way that they felt was needed to be surviving in this world. And to us, we're realizing more that the passion is what's going to drive people to survive.
That's wild, because the family did it's kind of like a 180. Okay, you established now. Okay, remember that dopeness and all the skills you got? That's how we gonna get rich though. So I'm gonna need you to work on that.
So for me, like I said, like my I didn't really have a rubric. I didn't have no path, like no roadmap. So for me, I think I've just been living in dopeness for so long that
come on now. Say that again. Say that again.
I said I feel like I've been living in dopeness for so long. But there's a caveat to that, because when you living in dopeness, you don't have any structure. And I think I could have been a lot more successful had I had at least both. Like when you train up a child to like not have to finish anything if they don't want to, or not have to follow through if they don't want to, or just kind of do your own thing if they want to, they struggle as adults trying to like stick to task and trying to get things done, because they've always been taught, oh, you don't have to do that. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Like, PG, that's not good.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
what do you want to say?
Your dopeness got you damn near brownstone in Brooklyn. You traveled the world, like legit lived in another motherfucking continent.
Outside. Yeah, you're right.
And then you make more than both of us in your 9 to 5.
Okay.
I'm just saying. What I'm saying I hear you. Don't sell yourself short, though. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying, but I still have to highlight that.
I'm not even gonna lie. That's been God carrying me this whole damn way.
I'm saying
right now, I was holding on to God's unchanging hand. You hear me? I was touching the hem of His garment.
Don't let go, God. Don't let go.
Don't let go. Yo, when I tell you that God has carried me all this way, it's not a fucking understatement. And I know it sounds crazy to be cussing with God in the same sentence, but I kid you not, that's how passionate I am about that. Like, yeah, I went through a period of time where I left faith by the wayside, but I definitely needed that in order to be where I am with my relationship with God today. So with all that said, I feel like living in dopeness is good. Like, it helps you develop the ability to be like, nah, I'm good on that, or I don't really need this person over here, or I don't need that, like I'm good by myself. Like, it does help you develop those things. But with being perfect, it gives you more of like a roadmap. It gives you like, you're not like a snowflake in the wind. You're not like a leaf in the wind. And that's what I feel like. And also with having more perfect, like the roadmap. When we say perfect, we mean like traditional, of course. So when we having that more traditional insight, it gives you more sense of being. Because for me, internally, I'm torn up. Like, there's a lot of different pieces of me that I still need to repair, that dopeness doesn't address, because when you're being in dopeness, like there's no rubric. You kind of just, it's a free for all. But when you think about tradition, you think about what you want for the rest of your life, like now you have to reel it in. You have to unlearn a lot of different things. You have to now establish who you are, what you stand for. Like there's just so many things, and like what's right, what's wrong. Like there's so many things that I'm learning now as a 30-something-year-old. And had I had both of those like side by side, I think I would have been internally a little bit better.
I see what you're saying.
Like I feel like, because like I'm not even on front. Like, so you guys already know that I'm working through my shit, right? I'm working through my stuff. I'm doing a lot of internal work. The other night I was here, you know, I live by myself, which I love. Like God is, he knew he needed to make sure that I was able to earn enough money to take care of myself here in the big old rotten apple of New York.
Not rotten.
Girl, rotten.
Yeah.
But I was crying, and I was crying because like I'm hurting in so many different places of me, because I don't know where I'm supposed to be. I don't know where I belong. Like I don't know like a lot of different things. And like, okay, of course I'm being okay with the things because I cannot change the past. But living in dopeness has its caveats, man. Like,
yeah,
yo, I want kids, I want husband, I want to be closer to my family. But like when you live in dopeness, you don't have that. Like you just fly, but like I said, flying by the seat of my pants.
Hold up.
I want to be closer.
So you don't, okay. So you don't, let me take my time.
Take your time. Let it get up.
So you don't feel that living in your dopeness will give you that?
I feel like it hasn't given me that.
Okay, so I say that because I feel we don't receive what we want because in our dopeness, we don't necessarily ask for it, or because we've been so traumatized, we have this. Let me talk about me. I'm not going to talk about other people, but like even for me,
yeah,
I realized everything in my life for the most part is how I manifested it, except for my love life, because I'm gonna get vulnerable here, but because I have this mindset right now of I don't deserve a good man, even though I want the kids, I want a good husband, I want a great father to my children, I want that family dynamic, I want to build with somebody. And so I'm working to change that, because I was like, I mean, everything else, I'm like, okay, I got it. But it's part of my dope. I feel like that's more part of my dopeness instead of my perfection, because the perfection, I don't think you can ever have a roadmap when it comes to getting a man.
Hell no, that shit don't work. That shit do not work. You're going to end up with a fucking maniac.
Right. But I always thought that portion was a part of the dopeness, but it's also how you know.
Nah, so for me, I think absolutely that part will come up with more, would come with the perfect side of things, because like when you're in your dopeness, like literally you don't account for anybody else's time, what they need. Like you're not worried about nobody else's need. Like you're not worried about none of that. Like literally,
I don't agree.
Like literally when I say like I was like moving and grooving, like I'm living here, I'm moving there, I come and go. Like that's how my dopeness was set up. Like I said, like I didn't really have like structure. So like not having like most people cannot be in a relationship with a person that doesn't have any structure. Like I don't have like like I'm going like, oh, what's happening Friday? Africa? Oh yeah, I'm going. Where we going? Okay, yeah, I got my ticket. Like yeah, we out. Like that's not sustainable for a person who's in a relationship. Like I can't just tell my dude like, oh yeah, Friday I'm going to Africa. Like that's not how that works. Like
why not?
Like
I'm gonna hop in here.
Please do.
Maybe I just haven't met the right guy. Any guys out there that don't mind me going all over the place, doing what I want to do, and then like you just still being loyal and not giving your dick out to everybody.
So this is where I'll hop in, because I think I can resonate with that side, because like I said, I've lived in a life where it was more so driven by perfection.
Yeah.
And Gigi is correct. Like for me, do I want a guy that has passion and wants to do things for himself? Absolutely. But where's the anchor? I need you to have an anchor somewhere that will secure me to know, okay, even though he's doing all of this, all of this that he's doing I don't want that to affect me in certain aspects, which is why a lot of times you will see men who run businesses, and when the business goes bankrupt, their household is in shambles, their household is in bankruptcy, or their kids, they're messing up a lot of things in the home front because they're trying to be driven by their passion. Do I think that it has to affect both? No, I don't think it has to affect both, but it is very scary to see somebody who flies off the handle and you want some form of security.
Yeah.
So there really needs to be an anchor somewhere in the relationship. And if they see that you have no anchor whatsoever, that's not something that they can love you to death.
Yeah, it's true. Because I have a lot of people who love me.
But if there's no anchor, they're not going to feel secure in staying there.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's me speaking from my own personal experience with me looking at dating and relationships. I absolutely want a guy that will start his own business, be his own man, do all these things. But I still need you to have some form of security to say, we're going to be good. If all of this fails, we're going to land right here and be good right here. I need to see that security right there. If he just, like one of my exes was like that, he literally lived his day by the time, like each day, like when he wakes up, he discovers what he's going to do that day.
That nigga was a bum though.
Crazy to me. That is crazy to me.
That dude was a bum though.
No, do you know how many dudes live like that? Even dudes that go to work and everything every day.
A lot of dudes like that.
I don't know what I'm gonna do today. Out with the boys today. I might just go bald. Like that's how.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out when I wake up.
Gigi lives like that, and I'm not even a dude.
I don't know. We'll just figure it out when we get there. I don't want to hear that shit.
That's true. That's very true.
Gigi lives like that, and I'm not even a dude. And I think that's when, like I said, that's one of the caveats of being like living in your dopeness for so long. Like I'm trying to calibrate.
And I think that's where I want to kind of get back to it, because everything that we're saying, I agree with. My whole point is your dopeness, and your and you being truly independent and trying to transition that into becoming an anchor or figuring out like more of a strategy so you can be a little more stable. I feel like we're mixing the two, which we should, because again, it's a part of your dopeness. But I do feel that because of your dopeness it's not equivalent to independency. Because what we're talking about, because you're like, I'm moving here, I'm doing that, I'm doing this spontaneously.
But that's my dopeness.
That's living a single lifestyle.
My independence is my dopeness. Like I've always been that way.
It's part of your dopeness, but I don't think it is. It's your dopeness.
It's
inseparable. I do think it's a part of your dopeness. That's what I'm saying. I was like, again, I'm not going to take away from your dopeness because that's how you define your dopeness. What I'm saying is I still feel that with my dopeness, I could still have stable and be an anchor and all that good stuff within the dopeness.
But your dopeness is different from my dopeness, yes?
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So that's why I was just like, dopeness could be a lot of different.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. It could be a lot of different things, but
that's your truth. Yes, that is. Yeah.
So when you look at me, now that you guys, you both know me, right? You ladies both know me, and so like, what would you define my dopeness as? Like,
not caring.
I feel like y'all, of course, can see it better than I can because y'all on the outside looking in. But like, what do you guys perceive it as? What do you ladies perceive it as?
Not caring. And it sounds so.
What do you mean, like not caring? Like not caring about like societal norms, or what do you mean by like not caring? Like, what do you mean by that?
I don't even know. I don't think I can articulate it. It's kind of like
is,
how
right?
Kiki
There's like no rhyme to reason. It just is.
It just is. Like Kiki always be like, explain to me what you mean when you're like, you're just Kiki. You're just Gigi. I can't. Y'all are so unique. I can't.
I would say that it's the fact that I don't want to say you make your own rules, but you make it work for you. Like at the end of the day, you do what you want to do. You say what you want to say. You move how you want to move, and it's working for you.
Yeah,
you're working for me to be a bachelorette for the rest of my damn life. If I keep this route.
But if you want to put your life on the screen, can you say that's the only place that you feel like you're faltering in? Because if that's the only place you could feel you're faltering in, you're doing pretty damn good.
Yep.
I think I also falter in relationship building with like just people in general because like I'm very flighty still. Girl, like y'all know I can hang out with pretty much anybody. Like I can hang out with like different groups of people and not be attached to them and just be gone. Like I'm like,
But
okay,
I
I'm gonna
think
hang out with you.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't think that's
You want to
Yeah.
be
Until you need stable people around you, like, oh yeah, I need to be able to call this person for help with this, or I need to be like if you don't have any like solid people that because you're so flighty and you're in and out of different groups, that's not good either.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, I'm in and out of different groups. But to your point, I took the time to pinpoint who are stable in my life, where
Mm-hmm.
I make sure I spend time with them.
Mm-hmm.
I show my love to them. I make sure if I need to stay with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
to your point, I have different groups. Could I stay with anybody in New York? Yes. But I chose you because I'm
Oh,
comfortable
like
with
you're so
you.
special.
Yes, because you're special. Exactly. Like I ain't even gonna take that away from you. That's yes,
Oh.
1,000%. 1,000%. And y'all, she got heated bathrooms.
Oh, my floors, yeah.
Her floors are heated. But that's not even the point because I didn't even know that. But what I'm saying is that I didn't. I came out the bathroom. I said, girl, your floors.
You said I put my foot on the floor and it was hot, and I was like, "Yeah, oh, the heated floors."
Yeah. I said, oh, you rich. She rich, y'all.
And that's not every place in New York. Every place in New York does not have heated floors, y'all.
Girl, every place in New York is like 2 square feet. So, but nah. Jokes aside, like I could have hit up anybody, and it really didn't matter because I was only there for a few hours. I just needed the spot to stay, but you know, I hit up Gigi because again, she's one of those prominent people in my life that knows what I'm doing in my life outside of social media. Like, you know, I don't post. Everybody knows I don't post everything that I'm doing, but I'm moving out
Same.
here.
I don't be posting a lot of stuff.
Right, but those people who are stable do know. But you have to take the time to sit down and be like, who's stable, who's not.
You're right. I should do that. I'm gonna do that this weekend coming up.
Yeah, do that. And then again, you don't have to call the person. Congratulations, you hit the
Nah, I'm gonna call them and congratulate them.
Nah, you need to call them and tell them
because
like,
you know how comfortable I have to be with you to like trust you enough to be like, yo, if I need to lean on somebody, I'm gonna lean on you. Like
I'm gonna lean on you. That's true.
That's
me.
That's true. I'm not even going for it. I was excited. One of my friends was like, "Can you be an emergency contact for my kid's school?" I said,
right.
Absolutely.
The fact that I still have to put friends on my mom for emergency contact is pissing me off, though. I'm not even gonna lie. That's another conversation for a different day.
Now I understand. I put my mom and sister for emergency contacts all the time. But you know, it will come. It will come. But again, we have to sit down. It's one of those things like, okay, whatever we want to strategize, we have to sit down and strategize it.
Yeah, that's true.
So you'll get your circle. You'll pick your circle. Your circle's pretty much picked, but I don't think you actually sat down and was like, you know what, I could call them because you're so independent.
Yes.
You don't want to call anyone.
Yes, you ain't lying. I'd rather be in the street in a cardboard box
for real
before I call somebody.
Gigi, that's you? You couldn't call me. You know you could call me. I know I could, but I didn't. That's you.
That's
you. That's you. I didn't. I'm like, okay, and where did that get you? Where did that get you?
Cold and alone. Sharing this pizza with this rat.
Big fat.
Oh my goodness. So like, thank you for entertaining that little rant I had. You know how I do. So now, which one do you reciprocate more?
Perfection.
Elaborate.
I'll be honest. I reciprocate perfection way more because I'm still seeking validation in life. Mm-hmm. I still seek validation from my parents. I still seek validation from my friends. And I still seek validation from my family as a whole. Mm-hmm. So I live in that. I still live in the standard that they would expect of me.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting. However, I will say that I'm working towards trying to be more in my passion as well. I do think the foundation of the perfectionism lifestyle or whatever is great because it gives me the stability and security that I feel that I need. Mm-hmm. But I also am creating that space for me to be okay with not having to live on the ropes.
What's
But
your passion?
Not living on the ropes.
Well, I know you
Hey, wrestler WWE.
Hold on tight.
hold on tight. WWE style.
In terms of my passion, I honestly don't know yet because I'm still trying to find out who is Kiki. Like, I can't even answer the question of if someone will say, "Who's Kiki?" I can't answer that question for you. But honestly, I will say that getting a taste of the work-life balance, that is helping me to kind of figure out more so of what I'm being passionate about because I have more time to figure that out. So I'm working on it, but yeah, I would definitely say right now, currently asking, I'm living more so in perfectionism.
I would say, definitely dopeness, but that perfection is pulling a few strands, and it's frustrating me, and that's where I am. And I say that because I feel like I grasped everything I needed out of the perfection, but to what we were just talking about, keeping that stability portion. But I feel like me holding on to that stability is not allowing me to expand on my dopeness. And I feel like my dopeness is what's going to make me a millionaire. And so them two strands, like I'm trying my hardest to cut it. But as I go to cut it, I feel like I'm in, you know how like you're in the air and you're dropping, so you're moving around, and so you're trying not to
Unsteady
touch the skin
and
as opposed to the string.
Yeah, all over the place.
I'm all over, literally, I'm flying all over the place. So I'm flipping. I'm trying not to cut myself with the scissors. And cut them strands. But I would say mainly, if we're doing percentage, probably like 80% dopeness, 20% perfection. But that 20% is a bitch. Let me tell you something. A bitch.
It got you in a chokehold.
Chokehold. I can't even tap. You know how you try to tap the arm to like, all right, release. I really can't breathe, my dude. Chokehold is not the word. We need a new word.
Yo, that's funny. You probably gonna need to incorporate like piece by piece to get it to convert all the way over.
And I think that's how I got to my 80%.
Yeah.
But man, I feel like this last 20%, I feel like I just need to jump at this point.
For me, I think I reciprocate more in dopeness still. And I'm making my way to the other side. I'm trying to find pieces, but I don't know if I'll ever get to the perfect side ever because like I've been living so long without structure that I don't know if I could. That's one thing that also scares me about even being within a marriage. Like I don't think I could live within structure. I need to feel free still. Like I need the kind of husband I need is the kind that doesn't feel like he. No, I know, right? Basically, the kind that doesn't feel like he needs to give me rules of how I need to be acting. Like he just need to be cool with who I am and just knowing that even if I'm out and I'm having a great time, I'm coming back home to him. I'm not gonna disrespect him. I'm not gonna like do anything crazy. Like, I don't want anybody who's gonna feel like they need to cage me.
He's out there.
Shit, where he at? Living in a cardboard box?
Nah.
I feel like that's the only one that's gonna be okay with that shit.
Because I have a few friends, their husbands, you know what I'm saying? Where you going? All right, cool. I'll see you when you get back.
Now, what was it like in the beginning?
But it takes time, right? But they found them.
That's fact.
They there.
And then you gotta
building.
Even
right, it takes building, right?
Yeah, even so, you gotta answer your kids because you can't just be leaving them hanging.
Yeah.
So
either way, you're gonna have to adjust. If you want that life,
yeah,
you're gonna have to adjust. And I'm saying that because I'm there with you. I am literally there with you.
I feel like
I be talking to Kiki and
a feral fucking cat, bro. Feral cats are like wild cats. Like they just.
Oh.
You can bring them in the house all you want. They're gonna tear up some shit. You can't really like give them no structure or nothing. Push some shit out.
Yeah, I do it all the time. Like I said, I'm working on relationships, and I always got questions. Yeah. There's some things like I don't comprehend. Like I'm trying to go to the islands for my birthday, and I was saying like, oh boy, he should come through too. And they're like, okay, maybe you should like go somewhere in the States with them first. And for me, I'm like, is it not the same?
You're like, nah, take it to the top. That's
you just island. I want to go to the island. I don't want to go to another state. It's the same thing, right? They're like, No. When you're building and you're trying to grow, it's like you have to have that patience too. You can't just automatically. We're
See what I
different.
mean?
Me and you are different. To your point,
See what I mean?
Gigi, you ready to go? Yup. Hold on, let me get my passport. Yep. Let me get my backpack. Wait, I thought you were supposed to go to a wine and it don't matter. I'll cancel it. Like that's not everybody, Gigi.
Yeah, I also think it's a difference with the guy that's never traveled outside the country, which is why we were like, you have to start slow. Like you can't just like, spring up. Oh, we going to Japan tomorrow. Like no,
well, I don't know. I don't know that lifestyle. I don't know nothing you're talking about because for one, I realized the other day I never dated a guy without a passport ever. I've never dated a guy who don't travel or don't like traveling ever.
Yeah.
Even the hood boogers I dated before traveled and they had passports.
Because that's a deal breaker for you, and it should be.
No, right. I'm saying even before, like even in like high school, my 20 college, like I've never dated a dude that didn't have a passport, bro, like at all.
But that's a thing. But it's a thing. It's a thing because
I didn't know that. I didn't travel with them.
It doesn't matter. You like to travel, so you're gonna attract or want to be attracted to people who also like to travel.
Damn, so you think I like a part of my subconscious? You know how the other episode we talked about subconsciousness. So you think like I subconsciously already had that?
Yes.
But how do I attract them not knowing if they had a passport or not? Like by the time I found out they had a passport, they was literally going on a trip with their family or something.
Listen,
that's wild.
It's the same thing where freaks follow me. I don't know why, but it's something I exude. It's just
freaks are following you? Where they at? Where they hanging out at?
Girl, that's for after dark. That's for the after dark.
That's the uncut.
I'm not asking for it. I'm literally not looking for it. It's something in our subconscious, something our energies just exude. But again, it's you're gonna attract what you are as well. So
I gotta re-examine my goddamn self.
Yeah, there's just some things, again, there's something, and then you have your deal breakers and your not deal breakers, just like somebody who doesn't want to smoke, or they're not necessarily gonna go for guys that smoke. But again, that's the hard part of dating. You gotta weed them out, and then you have to have patience, and then you got to figure out. Me and you want the 100%, and there is an 80-20. There's this 80-20 thing. We don't want to believe in it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying we because we're more alike. Like why? Because we take it as settling, where it's not settling. It's just I'm learning that you can't have everything, but you can have the majority of things.
Yeah.
But I'm learning again. But I'm taking the time to try and learn this fucking life.
This game that we talk about.
This game. I'm trying to learn this game. This is a game I'm not used to. I'm used to a game of, to your point, up and move, chill with whoever I want to chill with, whatever guy I want to chill with. It's not a problem.
Yeah, it's not a problem. So, like, getting back to this, like, do you feel like being perfect is part of being dope or vice versa? Like, do you feel like they kind of overlap? Or do you think one of them could exist without the other?
I think it can. I think if being perfect is what makes you dope, then why can't that be it? Like some people who live within certain guidelines, if that's what makes them happy, then why is that not acceptable? Yeah. I do think one can exist without the other as well. Some people have a really hard time finding stability in what society says stability is, but they are doing amazing and creating their own lane, or vice versa. So I think both.
Yeah.
I think both. I think that one can exist without the other, or I think one can be both.
I 100% agree with Kiki. The only thing I would add for me is I do think my dopeness is a mixture of my perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's me. Like I think my dopeness wouldn't be as dope without my perfection. I don't think my perfection would be as great as without my dopeness.
That's interesting because I feel like they're intertwined so much so that they can't exist without one another. For even if you're pursuing the perfect route, right? Our mind has to have some type of passion attached to it for us to even go along with it. Otherwise, we'll have like a lot of resistance. And vice versa. Like in order for you to do dopeness, like you have to have some level of understanding that dopeness as perfect. Like, so for me, for example, my having like no rubric and having like just like a openness, for me, that's because that's all I knew. That for me was perfect. Like, I'm just arriving to the point, like, nah, like there's actually a way that things are actually done, G. Like, you can't just be out here all willy-nilly, you know? So I'm like, now I'm trying to learn, okay, what is the perfect? You know what I mean? So I think that they both can't exist without the other, because like in order for people to follow, right, they have to believe some type of truth or some type of passion is attached to it. That's how you get them to do things you want them to do or follow along.
I agree with that. I guess I never thought about it that way, but you're absolutely right. There has to be some type of drive to maneuver in a certain direction. So I guess they would have to coexist.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's a really good point.
That's wild, isn't it? Like, if we stop and look at every part of our lives and like our existence, there has to be an opposite for us to really accept the other side of it. Like, there has to be a hot and a cold. There has to be a sunny and a rainy. Like, there has to be opposites. Like, I don't think we can exist without opposites.
Yeah, I feel like that's how God made the world. But I feel like he made it purposely to know that you cannot be whole by yourself. Because if he didn't, like, you would automatically feel whole by yourself.
Nah, I think he did it so that way we could have choice. You know, God is really a God of choice, right? So like, he wants to know that you're choosing to do the right thing or choosing to do the wrong thing, whatever side of that you fall on. But I think we have the opposites because we need to be able to have choice.
Oh, I feel like we
have autonomy.
I feel we have opposites so we can have a balance. I always felt like God made opposites so there is balance. But I could see where you're coming from as far as choice, but that's how I always looked at it.
Wow.
I believe in the choice.
Yeah.
I believe he's the God of choice. So it's like she said, like but I guess that's the balance in it too.
Yeah.
That's literally the balance in it too. If there's good, there's bad. If there's hot, there's cold. Like, it's all about the balance, and you get to choose which side of it you want to be on.
Yeah. Perfect cannot exist without dope. They're intertwined. That these conversations are important because it highlights what you need to work on, especially when you're so accustomed to like one mode of operation. What else? I think that's all I wanted to take away.
I would take away that it's okay to follow your own path on things. Like, I think a lot of times we speak on what society says is perfect, but if that's what worked for you, then that's what works for you. And that's okay. Like, I think especially now in this culture that we're in today, it seems like everybody is like, oh, you have to have your own business to be considered something, somebody. And if you're not working on freedom, then who are you? And I think, like, it's true. But, you know, I think it's for the people who are like, I want to go to work, I want to do my 9 to 5, and I'm okay with that. That is also a passion, or that's also you being dope as well. So don't think like just because we're defining both that it means like you can either work a 9 to 5 and be on this path of society, or you got to do your own thing to be considered dope. All of it is dope. What makes you dope is if you're doing what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, to wrap it up to your point, choice. Choose what you feel is right. Go with your gut or logic, whatever makes you sleep at night. Right?
No, I agree. I'm just laughing because like I'm thinking about, okay, how am I gonna continue to transition my dopeness into perfect? Like, do I really want to give it up, or am I just saying that because that's what I think that I want? Because, you know, a lot, we also talked about in one of our episodes how like we think we want something and then we get it and we're like, oh shit, that's not what this ain't what I thought it was gonna be. It's not giving.
But you gotta try it first. You can always give it back to the wolves.
You gotta try it.
You can always charge it to the game.
You gotta take accountability. Charging it to the game. Oh my goodness. You know what? 30 Investors, thank y'all for hanging out with us for this whole episode.
Yeah, I think we had fun on this one. Yeah, Y'all saw us go down a rabbit hole as we usually do, which are the most fun, I think. So make sure y'all hit us up on all social media platforms or our website, 30 and a Mess. That's 30ANDAMESS. We love y'all. And if you're listening to this during the week, we hope you're enjoying your week or your weekend. And we will see you on Monday. We love you. Peace.
Bye.